Hello. Hello, hello, hello. All right, hold on 1 second. Hey, everybody. Okay, get my little cell phone screen. Oh, I'm on here. Hey, I hope y'all had a good day. I got some tea. Couldn't wait to get to this tea. Here's what I want to say. I want to say not only is Shedeur Sanders a shining example for all of us on how to deal with difficult people and toxic environments. Shedeur Sanders is not alone, but he's the one that's making it past the hurdles and obstacles put before him, right? So we're going to talk about that. And before we get into that, I want to celebrate, but we're going to celebrate some things. So let's just get right into what I want to celebrate. I want to celebrate that Shedeur Sanders is the only quarterback to make it in the top 10 for Pro Bowl voting. Yay! When it comes to rookie quarterbacks, the only rookie quarterback to make it into the top 10 for Pro Bowl voting. And do y'all see the company that Shedeur is in again? I already in good company with Tom Brady. I already in good company with Burrow. I already in good company with Pat Mahomes, right? So now we have number one with the Pro Bowl voting because fan voting ended yesterday. We have Drake May, the Patriots, who's likely, possibly headed to the Super Bowl. We have Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills, who was the MVP last year. We have Matt Stafford, likely headed back to the Super Bowl, possibly. And we got Dak Prescott from the Cowboys, you know, America's team. And we have Pat Mahomes, who unfortunately was injured. But how many Super Bowl rings does Pat have? Shedeur's in that good company. And then we have Jordan Love, who's supposed to be headed to the Super Bowl, trying to go for it. Caleb Williams, who the Bears just won. And y'all know Caleb came in number one last year. Was the first player taken in the draft last year. Then we have Jared Goff, the Detroit Lions quarterback, and Sam Darnold, who went from Minnesota to the Seahawks, and the Seahawks seem to be doing well now, or at least getting it together. And we have Shedeur Sanders. Y'all did that. Y'all did that. All of the people that went and voted. Now, I know you had to register to get an account, and I don't think a lot of people wanted to do that, even though it was free. But y'all, enough of y'all did it. Y'all did that. So round of applause for the Shedeurians. Round of applause for Shedeur Sanders fan base and for everybody that knew about the voting, took the time, made the account, and voted. And I don't care if he voted 12 times. The point is, he made it inside the top 10, and he's the only rookie. So last week, he was the only rookie to ever be rookie of the week through week 14. And now, the only rookie inside the top 10. So fan voting is closed. Yes, there'll be coaches voting. Look for that. And players. Hope Jerry Judy don't get the vote. And players voting, right? So I don't care about that because we know how that tends to go. We just happy that our voice was heard. And, you know, despite Kevin Stefanski trying to hold Shedeur back, look where he landed. Again, the only rookie. So when you think about Shedeur Sanders, the accomplishments this young man has had, it just makes me think about the scripture that we talk about all the time. Nothing formed against you shall prosper. And what are they trying to do? Tear him down. And what keeps happening? He keeps elevating to heights of other vets that are already in the legendary conversation. So they can't hold him back. You know, if you want to lose, that's your business. But just like Tony Grossi said, of all people, you cannot hold that game against Shedeur Sanders. So shout out to Shedeur Sanders for people showing him mad love. And, you know, maybe one day the NFL will realize their mistakes and stop trying to destroy this young man's career and let him go and ball out and elevate the game. And he going to end up changing the culture anyway, right? Because the culture is exposed. The toxic culture is exposed. And nobody, and not even Shedeur, anticipated where we are right now with coaches taking players' wristbands and, you know, weakening the O-line and, you know, players refusing to catch the ball even though they get $41 million guaranteed. But notice, Stefanski doesn't make adjustments when KT Leviston rolls around on the ground or Batonio dirt dives, or 26 get burned 3 times in the first quarter. He doesn't make adjustments because they were placed there for that purpose, to fail, including Jerry Jeudy. Because the way he has underperformed, he shouldn't even be playing anymore. He should be benched, right? So we're going to talk about that culture. And now I got some tea. It's not just Cleveland. That intimidation. That's not specific to Cleveland. That's how they do business. We're going to talk about that. All right. So before we get into that, I want to give some little love to our little number 12 is back at it, back on the grind, not on the field, but off the field. I saw his Adobe endorsement today, Travis Hunter. And then I saw, in addition to that, he was cooking in his kitchen. So I have a little clip of Travis back up and around, because last time I saw him was a couple of weeks ago, and his leg was hoisted up because, you know, he had that injury. So Travis is back, and I want to show him
in the Atlanta Falcons.
Hold on one sec. I want to show him some love. Here we go, right here. Here we go. Talking about his waves. All right. So shout out to Travis. You know, he looked like he's healing properly, and he back on the endorsement, getting that money, getting that bag grind.
Now we got the brown rice. I don't really like that. How you like my green shit? Like my waves?
Look at his waves. They look good. Uh-oh. You can go surfing on there.
Look at that. Look at that wrist. That wrist. Now we got the brown rice. I don't really like that. How you like my green shit? Like
so he back in the kitchen. He cooking. He back his personality on 10.
Look at that wrist. Look at that. Look at that wrist.
So yeah. Shout out to Travis. So I just wanted y'all to see y'all. He was back up and around. So that means his knee has healed. Great endorsement for Adobe's new product. Don't even know what it is, but it has something to do with AI. It's kind of like Chat GPT, but I think it's Adobe's own product. But they got Travis Hunter to endorse it. So shout out to Travis for snagging that. That's a huge endorsement by Adobe. And then back in the kitchen, and his wife Leanna and his mom, they were making a TikTok. I reshared that. I reposted that on TikTok. So everybody seems to be doing well over there in the Hunter household. And yeah, I just wanted y'all to see Travis up. Travis up. He's healing, and I think he'll be fine. So he'll be back next season, y'all. He'll be back next season. So show him some love over there when y'all see him. Okay, that's that on that. Now, let's see here. I had something else. Oh, I want to talk about this. Okay, I saved this little clip about Tony Grossi, and I want to explain some things about what Tony is saying. And I want to talk about the implications, because Tony's messaging aligns with Mary Cabot's messaging about how they feel about Shedeur and the front office. I want to talk about that because y'all know that Tony Grossi and Mary Cabot are lifers, right? Y'all know the Browns tell them everything, right? So while they have Stefanski doing the dirty work, and he's happy to do it, these two, you know, are coming over here with the positive, we like him messaging that's opposite of Stefanski's behavior. All right, so let's take a listen to this. Let me make sure y'all can see it too, because, okay, just want to make sure y'all can see it. Welcome, everybody. If you're just not joining us, hit the like button on the way in. 128 of us, hit the like button. All right, thank you. Please and thank you.
He had no chance whatsoever. It's no reflection of him. You cannot put a rookie quarterback, I don't know how good he is, down 14-0 at your goal line almost every drive to start the game. And I counted him among the handful that did come to play. Yeah. I thought he had it in him, you know.
Now, did you hear what he said? I counted Shedeur among the handful that came to play. Why is that important? Because we talked about how players are tapping out, right? We talked about why players are tapping out. Because who the hell wants to get themselves? How can you be passionate about a game that's rigged because your coach is actively trying to take down the quarterback? What the hell you want me to do? You either want me to participate or you want me to act like I don't see it. And they're human beings. And what I'm telling you is this not just Cleveland. See, not a tea starting to spill out. Now, I wish this tea that's spilling out in another organization was spilling out in Cleveland, because that's what we've been wanting. We've been wanting somebody on the inside to be transparent and for the players to support them. But that's not happening in Cleveland, where Stefanski acts like an overseer and or a prison warden. But it is happening in a different franchise with a different type of fan base. We're going to talk about that. Let's keep listening to this.
He's playing for a job.
He actually made a few passes that were excellent. 3 of them.
To Isaiah Bond, 2 of them.
And 1 to Judy, which probably is his best pass in 4
we'll get
starts.
to Judy.
So here's the thing, right? He basically is saying, this is not on Shedeur. He made some really good passes. The one to Judy was damn good. And that's true, right? You can't hold this against him. He was one of the few players to want to come to play. Now, understand that this is, and you can look at his face and see he's genuinely speaking. He's not reading from a script. This is how he truly believes. And he was the one that went at Stefanski and was like, why did you take him out the game? So when you have Mary Cabot coming out and signaling that the Browns are going to take a look at everything. That's how she said it, intentionally. Everything, not just Shedeur, everything. And when you have Tony Grossi joining the side that Rizzo's on, genuinely telling you this kid is good and there's nothing he could have done. This is not on him. He was one of the few that wanted to come out to play. He's telling you the morale sucks. The locker room is gone. But that's what happens when you try to take down one of the players on the team. See, remember, the team has all this opportunity to bond. They're supposed to get to know each other. They're supposed to build chemistry. They're supposed to be like brothers. They're not just co-workers that work a 9 to 5 and I don't know you. Even in a 9 to 5, if you go to that job every day and you see those same people every day, y'all gonna build some type of bond. But then when the team wants to make a decision to harm another person, they want you to be quiet. And when they can't take that person down and they start to sabotage that person's game, I'm talking about Shedeur. They want you to shut up and dribble. That's it. It don't work like that. We're talking about human beings. The NFL was already the no fun league because they didn't want players to celebrate after they scored a touchdown. And it came out that these are human beings with emotions. So they had to let them celebrate. You can't bottle that up. But now it's happening in the locker room and on more than one franchise. What is starting to happen is the lid is being peeled off of the league overall. There's a woman on IG. I don't even know her name, but I follow her. She's talking about this NFL partnership with the military that we didn't even know about that was being forced onto us. And we were supposed to just go along with it to recruit. That the Department of Defense pays the NFL. And this is why they don't fear no consequences. When you get paid by the government, I mean, who gonna check me, boo? Right? So conversations like the Department of Defense paying the NFL. See, people think the NFL is a nonprofit. That's false. They used to be a nonprofit. The NFL is a for-profit organization, corporation, just like McDonald's, Wendy's, ExxonMobil, or goddamn it, anybody. They are entitled. They have to follow the same workplace rules and regulations. They are for-profit. But here's what's happening, right? Since I've been paying attention to the Browns are misleading fans into thinking the team has been positioned to compete. That's false advertising. The Browns are not competitive by any means. The number 2 defense, something they were when they played the Ravens. They were ranked number 2 because I checked. Suddenly, they aren't that good. That's what's being said. That's the narrative. Why? Because the players are being suppressed so they don't go 110%, 100%, or 80%. So they go 60%. Why? Because we don't want to win right now. See, it's not just the NFL no more quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders right now. We don't want to win. with quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders right now. We might not want to win with any quarterback. I don't know why that's the case. I don't think it's any quarterback. We don't want to win with Shedeur because we're waiting on the Manning kid to come out of college. I told you yesterday, I'm going to laugh in some people's face when they trade that damn first round pick they got sitting at number 5. Why? Because they had the number 2 pick last year, which is closer to the number 1 pick, and Tennessee wanted to trade it. And they could have traded it, but they didn't. Instead, they traded away Shedeur, who's over there. Shedeur and Travis were traded away because they didn't want to get a quarterback out the 2025 class because they were black. So I'm not trying to win. So I'm repressing the defense. I'm manipulating the offense. I'm sabotaging the quarterback so we don't win. But I'm also sabotaging the quarterback because 32 owners took him off the board and they can't be wrong. So I'm propping up Tyler Shaw. I tried to prop up Jackson Dart, but it failed. I wanted to get the Manning kids so I didn't have to do any of this, but that failed too. And although everything we want to do fails, we just keep exposing ourselves. And now that everybody sees that Kevin Stefanski is sabotaging Shedeur Sanders like we've been saying for months. For months. Probably 3 damn seasons. Spring, summer, and fall. Winter is December 21st. So damn near all year. Now they finally want to see it. And now that they want to see it, another organization with the same problem. That dirty laundry is being aired out. So while the Browns retaliated against people to keep the laundry in-house, the same issue is happening in another franchise. And now we know what happened to Tony Brown. The same thing that happened to Ray Ray McCloud, wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. Retaliation. The same thing that happened to Wyatt Teller. For what? Showing kindness and celebrating Shedeur. What happened after Myles Garrett told Shedeur when he was mic'd up, we gonna need you. We found out he had 8 speed tickets and he was reckless with his Porsche. But that's not what happened. They misled us to think his character was trash. They wanted to ruin his character because he showed that he believed the team was going to need Shedeur, and he was right. So Stefanski has done everything by hook or crook, including criminality, criminal acts, intimidation, coercion, retaliation. I'm pretty sure bribery is in there. It wouldn't surprise me if you look, if some people's guarantees were taken away and some people were given guarantees. Y'all saw the skit from RDC World where the coach didn't want to be on camera. No. I'm not asking you to do it directly. I'm just saying you don't have to be Superman. And what you think they're going to get for that? What, I'm going to get some more playing time? Why Stefanski don't make no adjustments as horrible as Jerry Jeudy has played? Because Jerry Jeudy is doing what he's asked to do. Asked by whom? Maybe somebody need to look into it. But the fact that nobody's looking into it, and you have somebody out here who looked into this partnership that the NFL has with the military and is being paid by the Department of Defense, that's why they have the attitude, who gonna check me, boo? I said they had protection. That's way more than protection than I was even talking about. I was talking about 47. Uh-huh. But when you have the military, the Department of Defense paying you, you don't do what you want to do. Because who gonna check me, boo? So Stefanski is not the only coach retaliating against a player that showed concern for someone else on the team or a head coach. For someone else who was black, who was terminated or done wrong or sabotaged or terminated unjustly. So let me tell you what we're talking about. I'm gonna let you listen to this young lady. You can read what's on the screen, but I want you to listen to her tell you what's going on. And I want you to think about everything that has happened with the Browns. And you can tell me who comes to mind in Cleveland based on what took place in Atlanta. All right, let's take a listen.
Former Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Ray Ray McCloud has broken his silence since being unexpectedly released from the team earlier this season. There was a lot of rumors going around about why Ray Ray McCloud got released, especially with the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver room being so weak. Though he did not say it specifically, the post that he just made on Instagram insinuates why he got released. And Atlanta Falcons players are interacting and liking this post. If you want to read the entire post, you can pause and read it. It's pretty long. But what I am here to point out is this last sentence that says, God always sheds light to the truth because it was never performance-based. In the beginning of the post, he does shed light on the fact that the past couple of months have been some of the roughest battles of his life. He said that he has been taking the high road and that he's been letting things slide. I do want to say that I hate that Ray Ray is going through these emotional and mental problems right now. Mental health is real, and I hope that he is able to shake back from all of this. Just know that us Falcons fans never thought releasing you was the right answer. I believe that this last comment that he made, it was never performance-based, is a direct jab at Raheem Morris, the head coach, because when Ray Ray got released, he did say it was because of his performance. Which is crazy because let's take a look at the performance of the receivers of the Atlanta Falcons this year besides Drake London. In this same Instagram post, Ray Ray McCloud included a photo of Ike, the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver coach who got fired earlier this season. The biggest rumor that was going around when Ray Ray got released is because he was sticking up for Ike after he got fired. If you look at the timing of everything, Ike getting fired, Ray Ray getting benched, then released, and then him putting this photo in his photo dump, it definitely gives that is the reason why he got released from the Atlanta Falcons. Especially with him reiterating that his release was not performance-based. I think the most interesting part about this is the Atlanta Falcons players' reactions to this post.
Right.
Quarterback one, Michael Penix, did end up liking this post. And Michael Penix is not the only Atlanta Falcons player to like this post. Drake London did, Chris Blair, Kadero Hodge, and those are all wide receivers. Michael Penix also commented on this post, calling Ray Ray his brother, and even the defensive players are in it. AJ Terrell commented as well. Chris Blair went to his Instagram and posted, "We ain't forget twin," and tagged Kadero Hodge when Kadero Hodge made that game-winning touchdown versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season. And Kadero Hodge reposted saying, "Shit, somebody did. Wonder who that somebody could be." It looks like Raheem Morris has officially lost this locker room. It's crazy that a player's coach is no longer liked by the players. Once you start to lose the locker room, there's no coming back from that. Raheem Morris has hands down got to go. If Arthur Blank wants to take winning seriously, he's got to ship that man out.
All right. So that's Quarters Reporter. I follow her. Okay. So she said a lot. She said a lot. Now, before we continue in our breakdown, I'm going to go through it and break down what she said. I know if you were listening, that people started coming to mind, the similarities, the situation. Type the name of the people who came to mind based on what she said is happening. Is it a copy and paste? No, but it's about 90% the exact same situation. It involves retaliation because one player gave a damn about another person. In Cleveland, if you gave a damn about Shedeur or you showed any interest in Shedeur being a quarterback, you were retaliated against. Ray Ray McCloud has a case because it was not performance-based. I pulled up and went looking to see what it says it was. I also pulled up Tony Brown because Tony Brown gave a damn about Shedeur when Stefanski was abusing him, and they terminated Tony Brown's contract. They cut Ray McCloud and he somehow got picked up by the Giants practice squad. And of course, it's December. He's gone from the practice squad. So that was just a way to do away with him. Now, Ray Ray McCloud speaking out. We watched Shedeur navigate these questions, and try to walk through these landmines that have been placed before him so he can do what Ray Ray McCloud did. Now, is Ray Ray wrong? Absolutely not. As somebody that lives in Atlanta, when they fired the wide receivers coach, I had actually commented before they fired, it ain't your wide receivers coach. It ain't even your head coach. It's your offensive coordinator. It's trying to take down Michael Penix Jr., your quarterback, 17-32. And I was right, because they were complaining. And I said this on camera during one of our shows. The Falcons fans are upset because the play calling is so predictable. I saw the same thing. I said, oh, Zach, whatever his name is, must have went to Pat Schumer school of play calling for offenses, because he was doing the same thing. I watched Michael Penix Jr. O-line set him up on the right, just like we see with Shedeur, just like we saw with Jaden Daniels. So now, in a different franchise environment, where the fans are more likely to hold the ownership accountable, you have kicked this man off the teams, both of them, the Falcons and the Giants. He's free to talk. He's also free to sue. And before we went live, I'm like, I don't know why these guys just don't go and sue for retaliation, for wrongful termination. And we were talking. And it was said, well, you know, sometimes they have to think about all of the people that they holding down. So they probably want to get back to work because I bought mama a house or my sister a house, or I got this going on, or I got that going on, and not having the paycheck will disrupt all of that. I said, okay, I could see that. I could see that. We talked about Colin Kaepernick. I said he even wanted to get back, and I didn't understand that, but he did sue, but he didn't get back either. And he never gets the call. And it was all pretense when it was, just like Shiloh with the 49ers. And the Sanders have never sued. Right? So, you know, if they blackball you and you didn't sue, you probably not. And that's probably why they treat you that way, because they know these people want to get back. Now, Ray Ray speaking out, in my opinion, a lawyer should reach out to him and explain to him what's at stake, because he has a wrongful termination suit. He's right. He was not sued for anything performance-based. I looked it up. He's totally right. But what he gonna do about it is the question. And if he ready to come back to the NFL, probably not much. Where's the NFL Players Association? You see, these players don't have any recourse. They don't have any recourse. So when you sign that contract and you start spending that money, you better not have no problems. You better not have no grievances. And they better not hate you, because you're going to be in trouble. You are going to be in trouble, because you're going to have to try to resonate with, is this where I give up everything I've been working for my whole life? Yeah, it is. And that's hard for them to do. Hell, we face wrongful terminations in corporate America and racism and everything else. Glass ceilings. Do we just up and quit? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So we can't tell them to up and quit because we don't know what their life looks like. But I am saying you have to find some remedy. And I applaud Ray Ray McCloud for speaking out about this on social media. And I also applaud the Falcons fans, the Falcons players, including the quarterback, who's the leader of the team, for liking the post, who will likely face some type of retaliation. But the point is, they came together in solidarity on the internet by just hitting the like button for their brother. And it's funny how these guys have relationships, but the teams want to pick and choose who they should have relationships with, Jerry Jeudy and Flacco. And where the hell is Flacco? Gone. So there was no point to that other than to tell Jerry Jeudy to stay the hell away from Shedeur, and they got to Jerry Jeudy. One day he gonna be somewhere, and it's gonna hit him. Just how much he let himself be used like a puppet by people he gave leverage to that's likely gonna use it against him, and he gonna wind up with nothing. He can't see it today, but it's okay, because you're gonna see it eventually. Because see, that's what they want to do. Get something on you. So that when you ask for a trade, you end up like Deshaun Watson. And they mad because Deshaun Watson ended up with $230 million. So what they don't want him to do is end up with his career and $230 million. Retaliation on top of retaliation on top of retaliation. All you hear is retaliation and collusion. The wide receiver coach was not the problem. The white offensive coordinator was. Can you guess what color the wide receiver coach was? Black. So when the black player spoke up for a black wide receiver coach who was being wrongfully terminated when everybody could see it was the offensive coordinator who the Falcons made excuses for. Well, maybe we need to bring him out the booth onto the field. That has nothing to do with predictable play calling. They wanted Michael Penix Jr. to not be QB1. And how did Michael Penix Jr. not be QB1? He got injured. Like who else? Pat Mahomes. Like who else? Tyrod Taylor. What's going on in the Falcons and is now being publicly discussed is shout out to Ray Ray McCloud. You need to call a lawyer because you have a wrongful termination suit. It's what's been going on in Cleveland, but nobody would speak up about it, but we could see it. We could see it. And McCloud talked about how difficult this was. It made me think about Shedeur saying how difficult it was for him. These black players are dealing with too much abuse because of the retaliation and the intimidation and the, I guess you could say, the excessive need to control, the aggressive control that these teams want to have over the black players because the black players are the majority. And their strength in numbers, as you can see with this post. Even with Porter saying the fans are with Ray Ray McCloud, that's their worst nightmare, especially in a city like Atlanta. So shout out to Ray Ray for speaking out. But you need to get a lawyer because you were wrongfully terminated and retaliated against. And the problem was their offensive coordinator. And guess who they made fire? The wide receiver coach and Ray Ray McCloud. The black head coach that they trying to fire. See, that's the crazy part, right? In Atlanta, they trying to get rid of Michael Penix Jr. at the QB1. They don't want him to be QB1. Everybody knew it was the offensive coordinator who's white, but nobody wanted to do anything about him. So they basically now have leverage on Raheem Morris and made him an enemy of the fan base, which means you have already lost your job. We just waiting to tell you because they made him an enemy of the fan base and the players. They played him like a Fruit Loop box. They played him like that. But guess what? Raheem Morris been in this spot since he got to Atlanta. He got played from the jump. The GM went out and drafted Michael Penix Jr. The owner went out and got Kirk Cousins and told Raheem Morris, I'm going to let you decide who to start. In a city like Atlanta, you started Kirk Cousins and that shit went to hell fast. And then people was ready for you to go. And I was just shaking my head. We went to one game versus Washington and I didn't see Michael Penix Jr. So I was out and never went back. And it's been hell ever since. And then they wanted to placate to Michael Penix Jr. Like, we going to do right by you. And he gets injured. See, that's why when you see them all talking well and good about Shedeur, he better watch himself. He better watch himself because Lamar Jackson got injured by his own O-lineman. And so did Anthony Richardson. How many times have we seen number 72, the right tackle, on the ground? This man wasn't even chasing a defender and fell face forward on the ground. He's going too far on the quarterback. It's going to happen. I think he might be practicing. Either that or he trying to tell us he not fit for this role, but he better tell somebody. Because if he fall on Shedeur, he ain't going to never be able to go to Costco ever again. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, it ain't going to be pretty because people see the sabotage already. He don't even belong out there. And you're not trying to do your job. It's the same retaliation. It's the same collusion. It's the same setting up to fail. They already got Michael Penix Jr. with the injury. They already got Raheem Morris. And after he started Michael Penix Jr. this year, he was undermined by the offensive coordinator. And when he fired the black wide receiver coach and Ray Ray McCloud, one of their best receivers, spoke out about it, they fired him too. And he didn't even say nothing to them. He just posted he really hated that happened. He said, this is the best coach I ever had. And you know what's interesting, how black NFL players, when they do their survey at the end of the year, one of the things they talk about, they don't have a lot of black coaches around. And this time you send a black coach to fire another black coach that is good and beloved and not the problem. So all you could do was spare the white offensive coordinator that's taken down Michael Penix Jr. See, the thing is, the person that's taking down the quarterback in Cleveland is Stefanski. Can't nobody get rid of him. The person that's taking down the quarterback in Atlanta is the offensive coordinator. And you see, they couldn't get rid of him. What did they do? They got Michael Penix Jr. hurt. And they made the black head coach, who they wanted to fire anyway, the enemy of the locker room and the fan base. Like Porter said, how is it a player's coach loses the locker room? Because he was set up to be the enemy so they can fire him. He was always going to be fired. And I said, don't be surprised if the defensive coordinator, whose son supposedly got Shedeur Sanders' phone number, that was scapegoated in this entire situation, becomes the head coach. Because what were they doing at the beginning of the season? Oh, yeah, whatever his name is. Yeah, his defense, he's real good. I'm like, oh, here we go. Don't be surprised. Or don't be surprised if it's the offensive coordinator who taken down the quarterback with an injury. I would love to see the insurance claims for all of these damn injuries. So Travis Hunter injury is likely covered. So they get $31 million back that they gave him. Pat Mahomes, they owe him, his contract was $400 million. So they owe him a big chunk of change. I wonder how much they're going to get paid for his injury. Michael Penix Jr., they're not going to pay his salary. Let's see how much they get paid for his injury. Deshaun Watson, his salary got paid $46 million. The Browns didn't pay it because he was injured. The insurance company paid it. So that's $46 million. So all of these guys, you're hearing about that with these injuries, their salaries are being paid by insurance companies 9 times out of 10. That's why all of the injuries are long-term. Now, here's the question. Are the injuries real or are they fake? We're talking medical insurance fraud. Look at who's injured. Jada Daniels. They benched him for the rest of the season. Now, I told y'all coming into this season, did I call it or did I call it? I said, watch they get him. Because he took his team far as a rookie, just like CJ Stroud. And they got him in his sophomore year. It's a lot of fraud. It's a lot of corruption. It's a lot of sabotage. And that's why Stefanski still have a job. Because it's not just Cleveland. Remember I said the other day, we don't know everything yet. This is going to continue until we know the whole truth and the absolute truth. And look at where we are today. We have to insert a new chapter before we get to run me my money. We're currently on sabotage. We need a whole chapter. We need to, click the plus sign and add a template that we wasn't expecting. And put the Atlanta Falcons. And then we're going to have to add another chapter for another team. See, these players need to speak out and stop holding all this shit in. Y'all home life got to be trash. It's got to be trash because you're dealing with so much. Think about what Baker Mayfield said. Think about, I don't know who the guy was, the black guy who said his coach wasn't talking to him. And then you saw a viral clip of Stefanski not talking to Shedeur. I still don't know who that guy was. I would love to know who the hell that was. And look at how he said it was hard to cope. He had to get out of Cleveland. Baker Mayfield, for a different reason, had to get out of Cleveland because he couldn't deal with the losing. So the white player couldn't deal with the losing. So he had to get the hell out of Cleveland and had a flight booked, I think he said, every Monday. And the black guy had to get the hell out of Cleveland. But because he was being isolated in public by his coach, because his coach wasn't talking to him the same way Stefanski wasn't talking to Shedeur. Dehumanizing players. That's what Stefanski's doing to the black players. In particular, Shedeur. Now, I don't know if Stefanski was this other black guy's coach. And if he was not, then it says that the Browns have been toxic. And Stefanski's profile as a servant leader fits that of the activities that need to be carried out. And they not have nothing to do with football, which is why he's one of the lowest paid coaches. When I said we didn't know everything, now we know something new. Now we know something else. Now we can look at it differently and go, that's why you don't want to fire Stefanski. Because this is how the league likely conducts business. Unless you want us to believe it's only the Cleveland Browns that collude, intimidate, coerce, retaliate, sabotage, dehumanize, discriminate. It's only the Cleveland Browns? It's only the Atlanta Falcons? Or is it every team with a black QB1 or a black franchise quarterback? We have hit a new peak to look in a direction that takes you from an isolated incident to widespread corruption. Yeah. And the commissioner not doing nothing about any of it, which means he needs to be fired, which means a lot of people going to go down. Just like Michael Jordan and others got together and sued NASCAR and technically won because NASCAR had to settle with them. And the settlement didn't just benefit Michael Jordan. It benefited everybody. That's what these guys need to do. And for the white players who suffer from depression and popping pills and living outside of their own bodies because they trying to cope with seeing Shedeur being dehumanized or knowing that Ray Ray McCloud is being retaliated against because the league protects the white players and coaches, but not the black players and coaches. And they don't want to tell nobody because they don't want to get in trouble. That has a negative effect on them too. They get played too. I didn't sign up to discriminate against no black people. I didn't sign up for this. Wyatt Teller, he signed up to sabotage Shedeur. And what does Stefanski do? Get caught lying about an injury. But see, they're going to protect Stefanski. They want to fire Raheem Morris. And they turn him into an enemy of the locker room and an enemy of the fan base. Jerry Jeudy on his way. He got to be an enemy of the locker room. And he damn sure an enemy of the fan base. You see how they play them like that? It's a book. It's called Judas. And they pull that little playbook out any goddamn time that they want to use a black person to take down another black person and then get rid of that black person. Judas. Just a buster. An enemy of the locker room is what they become. And then they become an enemy of the fan base, and you have no choice but to boot them out. And then it's their fault. And then they end up on drugs or cracked out somewhere because they got used. And they let themselves be used. For what? So it's not just Cleveland, but shout out to Shedeur because he could have easily talked about this like Ray Ray McCloud, but he didn't. He found a way to process it. And I'm not saying Ray Ray McCloud is wrong at all. But see, Shedeur is a quarterback. Ray Ray McCloud is a wide receiver. Shout out to Michael Penix Jr. for liking Ray Ray McCloud's post. That means a lot. And yeah, they're going to retaliate against him, but what's new? See, that's the point. Michael Penix Jr. figured it out. I was on my own podcast when I told y'all, when I realized that Michael Penix Jr. probably has realized they're not going to let him win. And this was before he got injured. I remember the game. His O-line was letting him get sacked. Then they didn't want him to throw the ball. They only wanted him to be a game manager and hand it off to Bijan Robinson. They want Bijan Robinson to be the starter team and not him. They want to waste his talents. He looked like he was going to cry after a game. And I remember the Falcons coming out and some people felt bad because his smile was gone because they broke him. And then they try to hold the little coordinator accountable. Not really, but let's put him on the field so maybe the play calling, the communication can get better. Didn't we just have a communication issue in Cleveland? It's the same shit. Maybe the communication to get better this time. And Michael Penix Jr. gets injured. And then they get to put their white quarterback back out there. And it don't matter whether he win or lose because we ain't got nobody else. I mean, technically they got Emory over there, so they do. But they really wanted it to be Kirk Cousins. And why is that? Because they don't give a damn about the mediocrity. As long as it's white. And I actually have something circulating on my IG saying exactly this. That the era that we live in, the reason they wanted to destroy DEI, which really didn't work for us, which really working against them. We weren't the DEI hires. We went to college. We got the degrees. We did the work. We were not DEI hires. They were. But what their goal is, we don't care if we close deals or if it works or if it doesn't or if it's mediocre and the fans get mad. As long as the quarterback and the head coach and the offensive coordinator is white, we good. That's what they doing. That's what they doing. Making it mediocre and they don't care about the consequences. Because who gonna check me, boo? Shedeur better be careful. Notice nobody's calling for Dylan to get back out there. Suddenly they cool with Shedeur being on the field. And just like in Atlanta, well, there was a communication issue. And Michael Penix Jr. gets hurt. Because they act like they fixed it. But he got hurt. And that's how they got to their man, Kirk Cousins. And they not in the playoffs. So now the fans are mad in Atlanta. So guess who they want to fire? The enemy of the fan base. The black quarterback. The black coach. Who they was going to fire anyway. And this was the plot to get him fired. To make him an enemy of the locker room. And an enemy of the fan base. So Raheem Morris, you played yourself. But I'm pretty sure you know that by now. Because this has been going on for a minute. And as somebody that don't go to their games, but that pay attention, I told them, I told their fan base, I said, your offensive coordinator does not want Michael Penix Jr. to win. I said, your owner, who keeps running out and giving millions and gobs and millions to HBCUs, does not want to win with Michael Penix Jr. So, you know, if I got to have G out here, I'm going to have to do some posturing. And that's what they're doing. I remember when they played the Bills. The Falcons weren't supposed to beat the Bills. That wasn't the plan. Blank ran out and gave all this money to HBCUs on the same day it was announced. I thought he had already did it, and they just brought it back up. That was to smooth it over when Josh Allen came to town and won, but they lost. They lost. And Michael Penix Jr. gets injured. They out the playoffs. If you think the NFL wants to go back to the Super Bowl in less than 5 years for the third time with two black quarterbacks, you are fooling yourself. If that was the case, I would have black offensive coordinators. If that was the case, I would have more than 4 black head coaches, and I wouldn't be trying to fire Mike Tomlin every year. They don't want that. But there's certain things they have to do, which means they placate. outcast, Jeezy, placating to the black people. Because why? The talent is 80% black. We matter. I can't have y'all thinking we racist. So I'm going to let you think Raheem Morris is an enemy. And now, they tried to make us think Shedeur wasn't good, but you weren't going to never convince us of that. Who they going to blame over there? Because, see, they don't have no black head coach to pin it on. Oh, wait, shit. Jerry Jeudy. See what I'm saying? Oh, it's Jerry Jeudy's fault. Yeah, that little communication issue wasn't nothing. They're probably plotting the injury right now. They probably know what insurance company going to pay for the injury and how long he going to be out. Midway through next season? That work for you? Not a coincidence that Deshaun Watson has been injured every season and has never played more than half a season in Cleveland. Not a coincidence that as much as people yap about that goddamn contract, that $46 million, that salary is picked up by the insurance company. Let's see if it happened again this year. That's just what it is. So that's the T. I'm going to play this part one time because there were things she was saying and I wanted to stop and address it. So let's get going because the similarities, this is what we were waiting for, people. I told y'all, but we know everything we supposed to know about how to hold and who to hold accountable. Shedeur going to be free to go. We got 3 games left. And look at where we are today. The Atlanta Falcons and the Cleveland Browns shed light on the way the NFL does business and start with the franchises where the black quarterbacks are. And then we'll get over to the franchises like the Giants, where they fired their head coach. And then it became known that players were, or one of them was looking at corn during meetings, and that kind of stuff wasn't new, but was allowed. And just in case you don't know, the player accused of looking at the corn in the meetings was a friend of the head coach's daughter down at Penn State. Yeah. Different set of problems, but problems nonetheless. So basically, surgery is being performed. I want you to think about it like that. I want you to picture the NFL shield being sliced down the middle and open. And you seeing the guts and how rotten it is. And it explains why people who have Netflix would rather watch Stranger Things. Why some people don't go to the games. Why the tickets at Cleveland are $7. Why the Falcons fan base comes together for accountability, except for they looking in the wrong direction. But they try. Right? Who's going to be the group of people from the NFL and sue class action other than Brian Flores, because that's already started. And maybe that's the one. But should it be someone else from the player side of things or the quarterback side of things that launches a class action lawsuit against the NFL for antitrust for the same type of way, workplace violations, a host in the list of charges in the same manner that Michael Jordan and others sued NASCAR and won? Now, Brian Flores' lawsuit, I swear every day, even this situation in Atlanta proves what Brian Flores said. The NFL is rife with racism. And regular people are just exposing all of these connections. And it explains why it is, who gonna check me, boo, is the attitude. They're being exposed, cut open down the middle. And now you can take a peek inside, something we all never have really done. And we like, man, this is bad. This is not what we thought at all. This is disgusting. This is irreparable damage. Not anything you want to truly be proud of or associated with. And now you're learning the truth about these players' lives. Everything that glitters ain't gold. We know the contracts ain't guaranteed. And when they get them, that seems to be some kind of leverage to control them, like Myles Garrett. Or if you stand up for somebody just to say your quarterback is ready, with Shedeur Sanders, if you Denzel Ward, you get pulled out the game and somebody else gets to go in and to lose the game. So you don't even get to do your job. Will Njoku get a contract extension? But Jerry Jeudy, the enemy of the locker room, which is why people are tapping out, the enemy of the fan base, people want him gone, gets $41 million. When it's reported that in 2024, when he got this contract, the guarantee was only $28 million. So how you go from $28 million to $41 million guaranteed in 12 months when you have underperformed? You underperformed in Denver. How did you get that contract? And we watching you underperform. How did you get an additional 20, 23, $30 million? How'd that happen? Bribery. It needs to be looked into. Because see, now we're starting to see the virus is what has Atlanta sick. We know what virus, the same virus we see, it's the same virus that has Cleveland sick, but we couldn't get nobody to speak out over that. You see how that worked? Nobody in Cleveland would speak out. But here it is. Somebody spoke out in Atlanta, and it's the same damn thing. They retaliated against a popular, good player, impactful player, because he gave a damn about somebody else on the team who's black. Isn't that what happened to Colin Kaepernick? He gave a damn about black people. Ray Ray McCloud gave a damn about his black head coach. Tony Brown gave a damn about Shedeur. Wyatt Teller gave a damn about Shedeur. Flacco gave a damn about Shedeur. And Njoku gave a damn about Shedeur. Denzel Ward. Myles Garrett. Used to be Jerry Jeudy. So since they don't have a black head coach to make the enemy of the locker room and the enemy of the fan base, it's Jerry Jeudy. So let me see what y'all saying. Oh, I said I was going to run this back so I could pick up on the themes that make it similar. And we're going to hop over to the comments because the question I asked was, what person comes to mind when she tells you what happened in Atlanta? What person in Cleveland comes to mind? What scenario comes to mind in Cleveland based on what she's saying took place in Atlanta? And I'm proud of everybody in Atlanta. And I'm not even shocked that it is Atlanta because I talked about that. See, the fan base makes a big difference. The fan base makes a huge difference. So these players got support.
On in the Atlanta Falcons locker room. Former Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Ray Ray McCloud has broken his silence since being unexpectedly released from the team earlier this season.
Now, mind you, we never heard anything from Tony Brown. Wyatt Teller was benched. He told us, I'm not injured. And it proved that Stefanski lied, and they pushed right past it, right? So Ray Ray McCloud spoke up. We didn't hear anything from Tony Brown, but Wyatt Teller told the truth.
There was a lot of rumors going around about why Ray Ray McCloud got released, especially with the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver room being so weak.
All right. Same thing with the O-line. People were upset that Wyatt Teller got benched. There wasn't rumors. It was conversation saying that it was unjust. It was unfair. We said it was sabotage because the O-line was weak and they wanted to weaken it even further. And that's what they did, to the point where they benched Wyatt Teller, put in Tevin Jenkins, took him out, and put in a 4th string lineman. And Tony Brown, we didn't hear anybody on the Browns organization talking about Tony Brown being retaliated against, dismissed, or anything. And the media could have helped to that point. This is why you can't trust the media over there. This is why you can't trust the media over there. And the fan base could have helped to that point. Because, see, in Atlanta, they spoke up. But in Cleveland, they don't. They want to talk about getting a 12th quarterback. To hell with that. To hell with that. Shedeur is franchise. If you feel like you need a 12th quarterback, then damn it, you don't need a franchise. A 12th quarterback since 2020? Get the hell out of here. You just ruining people's careers. And the fans are not of any help when that's their narrative. Oh, we want to get Mendoza, but you don't want to hold Stefanski accountable. You're not calling for Stefanski to be fired. Get the hell out of here.
Though he did not say it specifically, the post that he just made on Instagram insinuates why he got released. And Atlanta Falcons players are interacting and liking this post. If you want to read the entire post, you can pause and read it. It's pretty long. But what I am here to point out is this last sentence that says, God always sheds light to the truth because it was never performance-based.
So he's talking about what's happening is never performance-based. Right. It wasn't performance-based. Like I said, I have 2 posts ready to share. I did some research. I'm going to share that after she finishes. It wasn't performance-based while Tony was let go. It wasn't performance-based while Wyatt Teller was benched, and there was active conversation about that. There was no conversation about Tony Brown except for from the fans or the Shedeurians, right? And there should have been talk from the media, but they didn't want to talk about it. See, the media want to come out and defend Shedeur at the end of the season. And we said, had you listened to us at the beginning, but you chose to ignore us, you chose to mock us, y'all could be in the playoffs. And you say you tired of losing, but we're telling you what's going on and you don't want to listen. But now you want to listen when it's too late. How convenient. How convenient. So the franchise, the fan base is just problematic. Let's just be honest. Some people going to get mad, but, you know.
In the beginning of the post, he does shed light on the fact that the past couple of months have been some of the roughest battles of his life. Rumors going around about
what Shedeur said the same thing. How tough it has been because they're dealing with retaliation, because they're dealing with being dehumanized, because they're dealing with false accusations, because they're dealing with people trying to push them out, because they're human and they give a damn about somebody else being mistreated. Colin Kaepernick, which means the NFL hasn't changed. You're still retaliating against black players for giving a damn about black players. And you're retaliating against Wyatt Teller for giving a damn about a black player. Maybe Flacco too. It hasn't changed since Colin Kaepernick. So apologizing after George Floyd died was performative. But one thing about it, the Browns didn't give a damn about that in racism. It might have been on the field in the end zone, but if you look at who they drafted, they bypassed every goddamn quarterback they could get and got defensive tackles and O-linemen and this, that, and the other. They didn't care. They were not going to be a franchise to partake and end racism. Why would they? When we're actively letting it happen in 2025. And we scapegoated a black quarterback named Deshaun and blamed him so we couldn't get and pay a black quarterback in the first round, something we've never done, by the name of Shedeur Sanders. And we didn't even want to win with Shedeur Sanders as franchise and Travis Hunter as wide receiver. We didn't even want to do that. So we traded a number 2 pick away so we could wait until this year, until the quarterbacks lighten up in complexion in terms of being white or not black. And the fan base is okay with that, even though they have franchise on the ground. The Browns fans don't deserve Shedeur. He too good for the Browns and their losing strategy. Stefanski is content with only having won 3 games this year and 3 games last year. Shedeur's too elite for that. So don't be surprised if he get up out of here. Don't be surprised. Or somebody else gonna get gone. Because it can't stay like it is. Stefanski doesn't want to win. And nor does he respect Shedeur as a Black franchise quarterback. He has shown that by dehumanizing him on multiple occasions, and it's documented. If somebody wanted to do something about it, there's ample evidence. So let me let her finish, and we're going to get going on what I found online.
Ray Ray McCloud got released, especially with the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver room being so weak. Though he did not say it specifically, the post that he just made on Instagram insinuates why he got released. And Atlanta Falcons players are interacting and liking this post. If you want to read the entire post, you can pause and read it. It's pretty long. But what I am here to point out is this last sentence that says, God always sheds light to the truth because it was never performance-based.
All right. What did she say? The Atlanta Falcons players, including the quarterback, are liking the post. They're lending support for Ray Ray McCloud. Now remember, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, and Jerry Jeudy lend support for Shedeur being ready. And what happened after all of that? Denzel Ward keep getting taken out the game. This is not the first time. I think when I say he didn't have any targets, opportunities are being played. Now he just out. Retaliation. What are we taking him out? What are you taking Denzel Ward out the game for? You're not going to playoffs. You made sure to exit the playoff hunt. Why would you bench some of your best players toward the end of the season, but you still want to keep Shedeur out there? Same scenario.
In the beginning of the post, he does shed light on the fact that the past couple of months have been some of the roughest battles of his life. He said that he has been taking the high road and that he's been letting things slide. I do want to say that I hate that Ray Ray is going through these emotional and mental problems right now.
Now, you see how she said emotional and mental problems? I would never say that. And I don't know her and what she meant by it. I would never say that. I hate that Shedeur is being abused by the Cleveland Browns. I hate that Shedeur is being discriminated by the Cleveland Browns. I hate that Shedeur has no recourse from the NFL Players Association. I hate that no one will hold Kevin Stefanski accountable for the sabotage of Shedeur Sanders' career as a rookie, so he don't win one more game than Dylan Gabriel. This Shedeur don't have any mental problems. Ray Ray McCloud doesn't have any mental problems. Just like Colin Kaepernick didn't have any mental problems. You're asking human beings not to give a damn about human beings that look like them. Because when they do, they get retaliated against. That's not a mental health issue. That's not a mental problem. Absolutely not. Trying to ask somebody to shut up and dribble while you watch Shedeur be tied up to a post and whipped by Stefanski and forced to say his goddamn name is Toby. And you just gonna terminate the contract of Tony Brown because he showed concern. He was supposed to show concern. He's human. Wyatt Teller being benched because he celebrated Shedeur after watching Shedeur be tied up to a post and whipped. To see him succeed, he was excited, genuinely, and he was retaliated against. Who gonna do something about that? These are not mental problems. This is exactly what happened to Colin Kaepernick when he gave a damn about Black people. Once again, people, white or Black, are being retaliated against in the Cleveland Browns franchise, in the Atlanta Falcons franchise, because they give a damn about Black people. So we back to 2016 with Colin Kaepernick. So everything afterwards was performative. Nothing has changed. So where does that leave the Browns and the Atlanta Falcons when it comes to race norming? Because that happened in 2021 when they said Black NFL players are dumber, lower cognitive functioning than whites. So we back to that too? Nothing has changed. And fans need to know this is what the hell is going on. That these players' lives are being made hell through coercion, intimidation, retaliation, being asked to fix games, being asked to play at 60%, being suppressed so they don't win, so they go out here and lose. As if it doesn't matter to them, as if they have no choice. Fans need to know about this. This should be investigated by any goddamn body with a news station out here. This is ridiculous. And you have to have a holistic view of the league to see it. So shout out to anybody in the Atlanta Falcons organization that talked about it or fans that supported Ray Ray McCloud, including the damn players. Because it's the same sabotage, intimidation, corruption, racketeering that's happening in Cleveland. It just proves what Brian Flores said is correct. The NFL is rife with racism. So let's move on, and I'll show you what I found online as it pertains to Ray Ray McCloud and to Tony Brown, to Tony. Let's see. I'll show you Tony first. Let's see here. And we're going to head over to the comments after that. All right. First up, why was Tony Brown? Why was Tony Brown? Contract was terminated. He wasn't traded. They just terminated his contract. So basically, he went to work that morning, and because he gave a damn about Shedeur, they fired him. He has a grounds for wrongful termination. I don't know where Tony Brown is. I know he did an interview right before he was terminated, but he was terminated for the same reason as Ray Ray McCloud. Okay, here we go. It said the Cleveland Browns released veteran cornerback Tony Brown in August of 2025, primarily due to roster decisions. It had nothing to do with his performance, as they focused on younger players for depth and wanted to give Brown a better chance to find another team before the final cuts. That's what they put on paper. But if you go back and you look at the timing and you look at Tony on how it is that he was encouraging and showed compassion for Shedeur at a time where the abuse was evident by Kevin Stefanski, Tony Brown was retaliated against. Wrongful termination. They'll say anything, but it's up to him to decide on how to proceed. But he should hire a lawyer. And maybe he and Ray Ray McCloud should get together and file a class action lawsuit, because I know there are others. There will come a time. It's already happened with the coaches. Now it's time for the players. But I guess maybe they have hope that they're going to go back. No, absolutely not. You shouldn't even want to go back. But I'm not in their shoes. But they definitely need to get together and sue for wrongful termination. All right, let's see what else we have. We got Ray Ray McCloud. I pulled his up to see what his said. Okay, it says, because I asked the question, so it starts with yes. It said, yes, former Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Ray Ray McCloud publicly supported and spoke highly of wide receivers coach Ike Hilliard after Hilliard was fired, indicating that Hilliard's dismissal was a point of contention within the team. He wasn't the only one that felt like that, which is why the players are showing support on social media. It said McCloud described Hilliard as the best coach I ever had. Now, imagine being in the NFL, and every year a point of contention with the players is there's not enough black coaches. Some of them have never even had black coaches at the college level. And they get to the NFL and there's a few, and then they get one and they like the guy, and he's made a scapegoat because the offensive coordinator was trying to undermine his own quarterback and Michael Penix Jr. And when the fans stood up, they placated. act like they was going to fix it because it was a communication issue, just like in Cleveland. And they moved Michael Penix out the way by getting him hurt. Yes, Ray Ray McCloud was supposed to give a damn about his coach. Why wouldn't he? That's one of the best coaches he ever had, and he wasn't the problem. So when you're over there rigging games, somebody's going to be a casualty. But the longer these players stay silent, this is going to continue. It's enough of them out there that can get together and sue for wrongful termination. McCloud described Hilliard as the best coach I ever had and mentioned that Hilliard was a primary reason he signed with the Falcons in 2024. After Hilliard's firing, McCloud stated he would play my butt off for him. So, right, all he did was show concern. This should show you that they rule with an iron fist, like an overseer or a warden. And one former late, because I think he passed, owner of the Texans said we can't have the inmates running what? The prison, the jail? That was about Colin Kaepernick. Nothing has changed. So he stepped out of line. He didn't step out of line. He's human. He said it was his best coach. And you're going to fire him for that? You're going to fire him like you fired Tony Brown because he showed concern for somebody black. Or you're going to retaliate against him like they did Wyatt Teller, who's white, because you showed to celebrate Shedeur. This is two franchises. Both have black quarterbacks. It's time to cut open the others and see what's going on over there too. One way or another. So this is the new, this is what's new, people. This is the tea that I had for today, because why? This shocked me that I even saw this. Because honestly, I don't even know if I had been on Instagram. Because as I told y'all, hell, like Bucky said he was mentally drained. Hell, I was taking a step back. That's why I didn't go live earlier today. And I'm glad I waited. Oh, I made this, by the way. I want to tell y'all something. I'm a creative. And when pressures come, not pressure, but like I have to deal with unsavory things like what's happening to Shedeur, and I can't do nothing about it because, you know, I can do what I can do, but I'm not there, right? I guess my creativity, it just manifests itself into something beautiful. So I created something probably at about 5:30 in the morning. If you were up and saw me liking posts and responding to people, I was creating. So I created another 12 jersey, but like low profile 12 on the front, but it's what it says on the back. And of course it says Shedeur on the sleeve. On the back, it said, for I know the plans I have for you. 2911. And at the bottom, it's a stamp that says franchise. So go check it out on What She Said Sports. This is how I manifest, right? Like Shedeur makes music, you know, as a release. The creativity, this is my release. So go check it out at What She Said Sports. You'll love the back. For the plans I know, for I know the plans I have for you. 2911 franchise, right? Shedeur's that guy. And no amount of trying to destroy him is working. Right? He's surpassed emotionally. You know, we said we believe he would transcend this thing. And I do believe that God is using Shedeur to expose what's going on. That's just what it is. And because nobody in Cleveland would talk, Atlanta's talking. And it's the same thing. See, sometimes you don't have to be the one to make it do what it do. Because if God sent you to make it do what it do and they keep stopping you, it's just going to come from somewhere else. It's just going to come from somewhere else. And that's what happened. I said, Shedeur got to be careful because they're going to get him hurt. And he probably been looking out for that, which is why he ain't hurt yet. But who did get hurt? Somebody that they gave a pass to, who's been to the Super Bowl how many times and has how many rings, and he never thought. but they got it. Pat Mahomes. Yep. They also said Michael Parsons is hurt. And look at what he just went through in Dallas. And in Green Bay, on the way to the Super Bowl, at least to compete for it. I wonder how that's going to go now. Pretty sure if it's a long-term injury, his salary going to be picked up too. It's a lot to look into. The truth is coming out, like Ray Ray McCloud said. And like God said, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. The Browns are cooked. Because they should have cut bait from Stefanski a long time ago. But they kept him because they wanted to use his services. And now they're being exposed. And so are the Atlanta Falcons. So no amount of Arthur Blank running and giving money to HBCUs is going to excuse the racism that's happening in the Falcons franchise. I called it out long early in the season. And here we are. So let me see what y'all are saying. Shout out to Mama Tia. It said, keep grinding, Nola. It said, Tony Brown got released in August. He was a close to Shedeur Sanders. Stefanski doesn't want elite players. It said, oh, by the way, Tony is highly intelligent. Stefanski is worse than a rat trap. It said, Grossi said Shedeur was the best player on Sunday. Shedeur had little support. Right. And here's the thing. They really, thank you, Mama Tia. I really appreciate that. They really thought that people were going to pile on Shedeur and undo his progress from the week before. No. All you did was show us that by hook or crook, you're going to take Shedeur out. That's what you're showing us. That's what you're showing us. You're going to leave in everybody that's failing. And the fact that you have done that repeatedly tells us that it's sabotage because the goal is to win. You don't want to win if you leave in underperforming players. You don't want to win if you manipulate the roster to only play the weakest links. And then when they fail, you don't make adjustments. That's the biggest tell. And it's done on offense and it's done on defense. This is a franchise because the owner has allowed this gross negligence to take place. That should just be balled up and thrown in the trash. Or to made to go before Congress, 6 months to sell the team and get a new owner, Magic Johnson, and it need to be somebody black. Enough of this. Icing out black owners so you can run the place like a plantation. No, the owner should be black. There needs to be some accountability. And not just anybody that you can conquer. If the talent is 80% black, one of the damn owners of the 32 teams needs to be black. And if they don't like it, the other ones can sell their goddamn team. Go dig in the dirt. Since that's what really matters most than the human beings. Y'all try to dehumanize every chance you get. There's no reason for any of this. But what it proves is the games are sabotaged. They're fixed because it's persistent sabotage. So if it happens all the time, the games are fixed. The games are rigged. And they're non-competitive, which means the Browns and the Falcons are misleading fans who pay good money for a competitive football game. And that's not what they're being sold. They're being conned. And people are just being made scapegoats and dehumanized in the process. Thank you, Mama Tia. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So let me see. I'm headed over to the comments. How many of us? 60 people or something like that. Here we go. All right. I think I'm making it up to the top, y'all. All right. I think I made it to the top. Okay. Again, thank you, Mama Tia, for this show of support. I really appreciate that. I was so happy about today's podcast because I told you I needed to take a step back myself. And I finally saw Bucky where he was talking about, you know, being mentally drained. I know it's got to be tough on them. And after looking at what's happening in Atlanta, it even shows you the resolve Shedeur has to not. I mean, he said how difficult it has been, but he hasn't said much, you know, beyond the trust thing. He has talked about it and kind of put it out there that there's things happening, right? But the fact that people actually tried to dismiss the sabotage and then Stefanski continues on undeterred, and now everybody sees it. And a day later, we're now seeing that it's also taking place in Atlanta. That's peak level self-sabotage right there. That's peak level being exposed. When it's jumping from one franchise to... All right. Okay. Here we are. Hey, Niceville, how you doing? Hey, Ramona, how you doing? Lady T, how you doing? It said the fans have voted Shedeur into the Pro Bowl. Now it's time for the coaches, owners to vote. Announced in January. All right. Thank you for letting us know. We'll look for January. Thank you so much, Niceville. I appreciate it. Hey, Nola girl, how you doing? Welcome back, 22. Roger, how you doing? It said Queen is in full effect. Thank you, Ramona. Thank you. Joyce said we did it. I know that's right. It said I know I voted every day with 6 votes. It said DreamWorks makes the team work. Yep, it does. That's facts. It said God's plan isn't man's plan. Totally agree. Hey, Val, how you doing? Welcome back. We did that. Yep, we did that. That's facts. That's why I said the fan base did that, right? So we got rookie last week, and then this was like great to come out, right? Because after that game, you know, people were trying to pile on, but they got talked down. But of course, you still gonna have some mouthpieces. So it just came out, you know, people like, can you believe Shedeur made it? He's the 10th quarterback. I'm like, wow. And he's the only rookie. So we talking about the only rookie with the highest selling jersey, right? Yep. The only rookie with the highest selling jersey, or the highest selling rookie jersey. The top 5 jerseys, he was amongst them with the other veterans like Saquon Barkley and some of the others. He was the only rookie there. And then rookie of the week, the only quarterback to be rookie of the week. They have subsequently gone on and trying to give it to Tyler Shaw next week. We won't care about that. And what else? Then you have the Pro Bowl. He's in the top 10. There's 32 quarterbacks. He's 10 of 30. So that's pretty good. So shout out to all of us. Shout out to all of us, right? So you know, that's just more and more love for Shedeur. Like I said, Shedeur's fan base, the Shedeurians, however you want to label yourself, but the Shedeurians and Shedeur's fan base, that's Shedeur's saving grace. The aunties, the unks, all of it, right? That's God's grace for him. That's who's showing him love while they're trying to tear him down. For I know the plans I have for you, and it's not to let the Browns tear Shedeur down. It said our voice matters. It does. It said 12 million followers and counting. Right. United we stand. I like that. Thank you, Ramon. It said hit the like button as you come in. Thank you. It said he keeps elevating. Right, Sharon. That's facts. That is facts. Judgment is on 3. Right. So as you can see, instead of Stefanski getting the heat, it went right back to who? Jerry Jeudy. So Jerry Jeudy and Raheem Morris on the hot seat. Enemy of the locker room. Enemy of the fan base. And see, it could have been Stefanski, but see, Jerry Jeudy, he keep letting them play him. They keep playing him. They know what they're doing by taking the heat off of Stefanski. It said Zap and Dylan had Shedeur plays on their wristband. I heard that's how they got another wristband. Good evening. Travis put too much seasoning on that. Didn't even know what they were cooking. How could you see that? I didn't even know what they were cooking. Absolutely. It said judgment is here on earth. It said, look at what's happening. Yup. You can see it. You can see it. And say, good evening, good evening, good evening. Somebody said, what? I have recovered from being stuck and seeing red. It said, I stand corrected from yesterday. Oh, okay, Elaine. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. It said, don't believe nothing they say, Mary and Tony. Right. And that's the whole thing. Because see, the same play happened with Michael Penix Jr., right? I'm telling you, I remember that game. I don't know who it was they played, but I watched that game and I saw what they were doing. They were trying to break him down to a game manager. They were trying to make Bijan Robinson the star, take that away from the most important position on the team, right? They didn't want him to be the starter anyway, because hell, he was drafted first round and they still went with Michael Penix Jr. But when it became a disaster, then they want him to be the hero and try to fix it. And because the fans were so livid in Atlanta when the season ended, the first thing they did, so fans were go and buy tickets, was announce Michael Penix Jr. as the starter. But then they came back with, okay, we're going to let him start. It's the same thing with Shedeur. We're going to let you start, but we ain't going to let you ball out. We're going to go with the running back, or we're going to go with this, or we're going to go with that. And the O-line was allowed to let him get sacked. His center, I watched his center let him get sacked. I watched his right tackle let him get sacked. And after the end of the game, when he just couldn't get nothing, right? I saw his face and he looked like he was about to cry. And I remember the week or so or two after that, they were talking about how he changed, how he was always happy, but they never saw that anymore. And people worked to try to fix that, or so you think. So while they worked to fix what was happening, the sabotage, basically, that's what it was. What they didn't know is he would get injured. It wasn't going to be QB1 anyway. And that's what happened. I mean, he might be back now. I don't know. But last I checked, it was still Kirk Cousins. He got hurt before they went overseas to Berlin or somewhere, wherever they played. And I was like, very interesting timing. I don't even know if he back. And then when they asked him something about, and it's the same kind of question Shedeur got. They asked him something about who he listens to or take advice from, and he said something about his girlfriend. You know, he listened to her. He don't really listen to anybody else. They asked Shedeur the same kind of question. And he said it was trying to give credit to Stefanski, I think. And he said he hears his father, giving him support and encouragement and telling him what he needs to do. So they got Shedeur on the same path as Michael Penix Jr. And since Michael Penix Jr. is a little ahead of Shedeur, same situation with, the higher-ups trying to take him out. Offensive coordinator at the time calling the plays was Stefanski. See, Stefanski think he's slick by supposedly turning over the headset, but it still falls on him. But instead of it being the head coach in Atlanta, it's the head coach in Cleveland. And to protect him, they got Jerry Jeudy. Yep. But see, they want to get rid of Raheem Morris. So that's why he is now the enemy in Atlanta. That man has never been able to do his job because he's been trying to, and I blame him, but he's been trying to appease the owner. That's what he's been trying to do since last year. And I'm like, you're going to get fired because this fan base going to chew you up and spit you out. That's the difference between the fan bases. Atlanta, they don't play. As you heard Porter say, she said the fan base knew what time it was. They knew. They stood with Ray Ray McCloud. So, and see, that's the difference. That's the difference. Shedeur got us, not the fan base, because they want to get their 12 quarterbacks since 2020. I believe Grossi thought Shedeur was spoiled or lazy or something. Yeah, I don't know what he thought. It said the grown men should whoop Kevin. Those guys are mentally tired. Yup, that's why they tapping out. Grossi knew better than that. He chose to back the Stefanski. That's all it was. The Stefanski organization. That's the way to say it. That's really what he was doing. I ain't making no excuses for none of them. That's really what he was doing, right? Why? Because he felt like, well, they let him in. He gets to ask the questions. He part of the establishment. Understand that. That's why I said to see those two switching, it's something going on. And see, people want to say Shedeur should start next year. Don't forget who over there, Deshaun. And don't forget who took Shedeur off the board. So keeps trying to keep him next year because they never talk about trading him. Could also be a way to either pit him against Deshaun or Deshaun against Shedeur. And one of them gonna be QB1, but the other will not. Now Deshaun is on his way out. It should be Shedeur. But I don't hear nobody trying to get Stefanski fired tomorrow. They want to wait. And I ain't gonna tell you he going nowhere. The owner seems attached to him because you ain't gonna find too many special kind of fools. And that's what he is. Like a henchman. Straight demon. That's just what it is. Mama Tia said, keep manifesting. Jeremiah 29:11. You're speaking it into existence. I love how you articulate. Thank you. Facts, research, resiliency. Yes, Bucky said he was exhausted. Good night. Good night, Mama Tia. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time, I guess tomorrow. So yeah, I'll probably be back during the day tomorrow because I need it. Like Bucky, hell, what happened was you needed a minute. You had to take a step back, right? You know, I had to be very, very cautious on, you know, where I navigated because I wasn't trying to hear no foolishness and I wasn't arguing with nobody, right? But I did have things to kind of like add to the conversation, which were impactful. And but I wasn't, you know, on TikTok much. I didn't make my little TikTok. I actually went out and got something to eat, but normally I do my little TikTok. Didn't want to really do that, right? So, you know, there's always something to pull you out of that. But when that happens, that's the time that you kind of just take stock in the things and learn how to move forward, right? Like Shedeur's probably had to do this so many times, right? I mean, I'm proud of Shedeur. I'm proud of Ray Ray McCloud, but these players are taking on too much abuse and being silenced. Nothing's changed since Colin Kaepernick. Nothing's changed. And retaliating against Wyatt Teller tells you they don't care what color you are. If you support the quarterback they don't want you to support, you're gonna get it. And that's what it is. That's just what it is. And that's shameful, right? But the most important thing is the play from the Browns is not competitive. It's not competitive. And it's probably the same way in Atlanta, but I don't watch them no more, so I can't speak on that. But the fans are being misled by the Browns. Oh, come out and see the Browns play the Bills. For what? Is it going to be competitive? Because what we doing here? We ain't coming to WWE. Nobody flying in for that. Nobody's sitting outside at 32-degree weather or 15-degree weather for what they think is competitive. But Stefanski has suppressed the offense and the defense via manipulation. Corruption, no. So, like Ray Ray McCloud said, time will tell. And that's what's happening. What's the relationship with the Department of Defense? They were donating money to paying the NFL for recruiting services. Yep, paying the NFL for recruiting services. I'll have to find that lady's post and share it with y'all. It's in my stories right now, I think. It's in my stories. Hey, Spiritual, how you doing? How you doing? Let me get you up here. Thank you for the super chat. Let me get you in here. It says, salute to you, What She Said Sports. You've really been on fire. Channels like yours are so needed in the current climate. Thank you so much. Good night. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of the encouragement, guys. I really do. I appreciate it from everybody. Thank you so much. It said Miles will not make his 4 sacks this year. Stefanski will punish him too. You might be on to something, Niceville, because why? They gave him a half a sack instead of 2. They gave him a half a sack. That's why you don't let these people use you. They ain't gonna give you whatever it is they dangling in your face. $1 billion lawsuit. That's what I say. It's too late for Cleveland to put the genie back in the bottle. Right. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. You are totally right about that. By hook or crook. That's what it is. By hook or crook. There's a new video of 68 not blocking at all on the field against the Bears. Oh, really? Hey, Kateo, how you doing? How you doing? It said they not paying Tony Grossi anymore. Right. You're right. Unless he was sent to be the voice of dissent. Understand, they want to get rid of somebody. Now, I don't know who it is, but Stefanski still work there. You would think they're letting Stefanski sabotage Shedeur so he could be traded for less than a QB1, like they did every other black quarterback that been through there. That's what you think is on the surface what has been happening. But then when the heat gets high about the sabotage or Coach Prime come to town, they switch things, right? They switch it. So I don't know if they just placating and trying to look like we not standing with Stefanski because the heat is at his feet, right? Or if they're trying to ease off of Stefanski. I already had the conversation. We're going to let you go at the end of the year and probably set you up with another job. And we're going to move forward in the draft or whatever we're going to do. Distancing. Professionally beginning to distance themselves from Stefanski because the season is almost over and he's going to move on, or the heat is too much for Haslam because y'all say he don't like bad publicity. So that's what I'm thinking, guys. That's what I'm thinking. So good night, Mama Tia. I think you said you were gone and Spiritual said they were gone too. So thank y'all so much. All right. Let me get back over here. So I asked y'all, let's see if y'all put the names in the chat. Everyone who speaks highly of Shedeur gets punished, right? Got rid of Tyler Huntley after he said nice things about Shedeur after the Rams game. Right. And what did Tyler Huntley say? He don't want to come back. He don't want to come back. Roger Goodell works for all the owners. They voted him in as commissioner. Well, that explains why he still got a job. The question, what is the remedy for this continuous retaliatory activity against 17 to 32? For 17 to 32 are the ones that preceded them to file a class action lawsuit like Michael Jordan against NASCAR, like Brian Flores against the NFL. That's it. There's nothing else for them to do but that. That's what they're going to have to do. But they're going to have to be ready to give up their careers because Colin Kaepernick sued. Did he get back? No. So they have to choose themselves first. They have to be willing to move on from their career first. And when they do, they'll get somewhere. It said now they got Kirk Cousins as QB1, right? And that's what they wanted all along. So what it shows you is we going to get our way. One way or another. And another is injury. And what did I say before we even talked about Atlanta? Pain. If that's what it got to be. And they make money off of that. We ain't paying your salary. You out the way and somebody else paying. Shedeur better be careful. We're going to pray to God. Be careful out there. Ray Ray McCloud with the Giants. He got cut. They let him go this month. It said the black quarterback proclamation needs to be to get his serious plays. Yeah. It said he can get his. Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Amber 72? Yeah, 72 tripping, bro. He on a mission. Believe me, you got to watch him. You got to watch him. You have got to watch him. Stefanski plays the players against each other. But if those guys would stick together, right? Hell, if they stuck together, somebody would have already spoke out in the same manner as Ray Ray McCloud. You don't hear from Tony, and he gone. Wyatt Teller spoke out, right? And the media actually got behind that, and it came and went, right? Shout out to the Falcons. Again, I think the fan base makes the big difference. If these players feel like they got support, I think they will speak up. They talking about Stefanski going to the Giants or the Titans. Yeah. They better send him to the Giants because sending him over there with Cam ain't the move. That ain't the move. They just got rid of Callahan, who was problematic, and they want to send Stefanski over there. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem because you know what he going to do. It says 72 and 77 of Lamar's O-line say stay on the ground. Oh, you talking about Baltimore? It said they were a few plays where 77 was just standing around with his arms out pretending to protect Lamar. Right. And you think the head coach don't see that? That's why Harbaugh still got a job. Yep. So between Lamar and Michael Penix Jr., Shedeur, they coming for you. Injury. Be careful. That's why Coach Prime need to be at every game. They need and take them gold jackets with you. Because they are accountability. They are, they know how the game go, right? Just like with that Wildcat at the end. And it was like, wow, right? But it was like, look, we let him play, but we can't let you win. It proves they don't want to win. So Shedeur, like Michael Penix Jr., going to have to turn himself into a game manager, which is going to devalue him. And he going to get booted out less. But if they set you up and hurting you, they're going to devalue you anyway. They trying to devalue Cam. And he was the number 1 pick. They try to devalue Caleb Williams. Paid his backup $10 million. And he went to a D3 school because he white. They just trying to whiten up the place. They don't care if it's mediocre. They don't really care. I talk about it in my stories. Go check it out. I didn't talk about it. Somebody else did on IG. Yep. Full detail of what's going on. Him and Cam wouldn't work out at all. Right. Yeah, that wouldn't work out at all. You right about that, Amber. I ain't even think about that because Cam gonna say what he thinking. It said Raheem Morris is married. So that's Raheem Morris' problem? Oh, okay. All right. Got you. Thank you. It said the obvious is already quite obvious. Right. And you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I maintain that New Yorkers will run Stefanski out of there. It said the way he dances around the media will not work in a larger market. Okay. So that could be his downfall. I happen to think they want to send him to New York because they know they're going to push out everybody. And they're going to get a new GM and they're going to boot him right out. That's what I think. I could be wrong. I guess it depends on the timing of the transaction. But they could be lying to him just to shut him up so he don't start running and telling like he tried to do. This man actually ran to Albert Breer to complain to the NFL because that's what Albert Breer represents technically, right? Because he mad because others, I don't know who the hell he talking about other than Haslam because he directly reports to Haslam. He don't even report to Andrew Berry. But he said others wanted Shedeur evaluated. I guess he's talking about Berry. He called him others. He can't even show the man respect. And that's on Haslam for setting up that ridiculous hierarchy like that. That's messy. That's just messy, right? That's just as messy as telling Coach Prime, let's just say Shedeur plays a good game. And he called it in. But we still ain't winning. Because the agenda is still the agenda. And that's what's so sad, right? Yep, all just fake. There you go, Tina. Yep, Cam will cuss him out. I totally agree. It says Stefanski should never coach in the NFL again. Yeah, I think he should be banned. He shouldn't even be allowed to go back to work. Matter of fact, they should have told him long time ago, find your way home. Maybe the Raiders game, find your way home. The Ravens game, find your way home. It didn't matter if we was in Cleveland. Just find your way home. It said he shouldn't coach anywhere. He doesn't care about winning, only about control. Right. And getting his way is control. And that's all he care about. That's it, guys. That's all he care about. And they gave him that control. So, and he don't want to relinquish it. It said Ben Johnson wasn't talking to Caleb when he would make dumb throws. Really? Yeah, I heard he's not a good guy either. I think he and Stefanski are like-minded. Those players really have to stand or continue. Right. And that's what I mean. When you see Michael Jordan and the others getting together in NASCAR and what they did, y'all need to pile y'all resources and send in 100 lawyers for the same reason. And it's not going to change. And I think it's because they haven't given up on that dream. I'm like, it's going to happen though. It's going to happen some way. And now, see, they trying to get it. See, Dante Moore got to be careful, right? They only pigeonholing this kid to Cleveland. Now, that's the media. Mind you, they was pigeonholing Shedeur to the Giants, and they knew that shit wasn't going to happen. And I think they know that it's not happening in Cleveland because they like, we can't move Deshaun. Deshaun is the excuse, right? So I think they trying to force him to come out, knowing that it's only so many teams in the first round that need a quarterback and that want a black quarterback. All teams are not black quarterback friendly. Philadelphia is, until maybe this year. But Philadelphia is, right? The Raiders have the first pick. They never even talk about him going to the Raiders. They don't even talk about Mendoza going to the Raiders, and he just won the Heisman. Both of them get pigeonholed to the receptacle over there in Cleveland. So they keep asking Mendoza, Are you declaring for the draft? He said, I don't know. I'm thinking about the game. They're playing James Madison University. Should be an easy win, but then again, it could be a loss. I don't know. I think they're trying to force that kid to come out like they forced Caleb to come out. Remember, Caleb was going to go back to school for another year. And it was like, if you don't come out now, the media went in like he didn't have a choice. And they felt like Shedeur wanted to have a choice when Shedeur didn't have a choice. Shedeur was courted heavily by the Browns. And because he liked what they were saying, they were upset because they thought he was trying to have a choice. That's the one thing they don't want these black players to have is a choice in anything. You're not supposed to have a choice. This is what we say it is. And that goes for Wyatt Teller when it comes to the quarterback being black. Nothing has changed since Colin Kaepernick. And Colin Kaepernick sued and won. So the rest of these players need to get some lawyers together and follow Michael Jordan's lead and Brian Flores' lead and sue this damn league under the goddamn ground. Because nothing has changed since race norming and they were busted for that. They don't even want you to have a choice. So why do they think that you smart? They don't even want you to have a choice for yourself. I was watching Magic Johnson, the movie when he was younger coming out and was meeting with teams and they were talking to him like he was crazy. He said he wanted 600,000 and they were like, no, boy. And he was like, what? And he ended up going back to school and won the championship. That's how they treat them. Like you don't have a choice. And Magic Johnson was like, yeah, I know how much you're paying. I think Kareem or Lou Alcindor or Kareem. I'm not sure which is the name he preferred. And Magic Johnson said, well, yeah, I know how much you're paying him. And I think my talent's worth 600,000. And they were like, we think maybe 400,000. He said, well, I'll just go back to school. And they got upset. So they trying to push Dante Moore to come out and get pigeonholed somewhere where he gonna fail. Dante Moore need to go back to school. Cam got the money, but he also been sacked 48, 49 times. Who knows what that's gonna do to his future health and quality of life? And then they trying to talk about send Stefanski over there so he can do it again, or so he can devalue him and he could lose again. And in his third year, when it's time to discuss an extension of a contract, because it happens 2 years, you start 2 years before. You're going to be devalued and you ain't going to get it, just like they're trying to do CJ Stroud. They're going to try to do the same thing to Jada Daniels. Because they want the quarterbacks to be white, like they used to be. That's just what it is. They say they don't see race. Yeah, they lying. I don't know how you don't see somebody standing in front of you with beautiful melanin. You see it. They just lie. People just need to admit all they do is lie. Lie, collude, cover up, retaliate, coerce, cheat, discriminate. That's it. Ain't no telling what else going over there. Ain't no telling. If you go look at why the Washington Commanders was forced to sell, ain't no telling what the hell else is going on over there. But I'm sure it's some of that too. Corruption. It said the locker room turned on Stefanski. Yep. Because now they talking about the players in Cleveland tapping out. And they want Myles Garrett to give them some kind of encouragement. Myles Garrett he took a long pause and looked down like, let me see what I'm going to say because I ain't nothing I can do. What are you going to do? They don't want you to be negatively affected by the abuse. That's essentially what it is. They don't want you to be negatively affected by shut up and dribble. They don't want you to be negatively affected by seeing people who you've gotten to know or because you decent be abused. They don't want that. It's just cover up after cover up, plot after plot, collusion after collusion. It's crazy. It's just crazy. It said if Stefanski can't handle Shedeur, he will be unable to handle Cam. It's Cam's world in Tennessee. That's facts. The fans actually like Cam. That's why the head coach gone. So they could send him over there and that'll be the end of him. It said Shedeur is not bothered by Stefanski's shenanigans. It said, didn't we see a coach yell and hit a player? Huh? Then we see a coach. Who we talking about? Cam Ward. Do play that. Yeah, Cam is something else. Those Bears players were congratulating Shedeur after the game. I heard that. I really did. I think Joe asked to be traded. Joe looked sad when he was at Cleveland. It said he saw what they were doing. Right. I agree. I totally agree with that. The stress that some of the players face is what? What's that? What's that, Ramon? The stress that some of the players face is what? Players have signed their contracts, and if they go against what's in the contract, they will lose everything. They will have been bought and paid for, all control. They better band together. Yep. Good evening. Welcome back, Mama Tia, if you came back, or is that from earlier? It said, what happened with Ray Ray McCloud? They retaliated against him and sent him packing. I guess he got waived, and he ended up on a practice squad with the Giants, but they just cut him, or they cut him in December. I don't know at what point. Retaliation, same thing. That's just what it is. Straight talker. Oh, listen to this. Somebody maybe have some insight. Let me share this with y'all. This is interesting. I have never heard this before. Somebody is saying, this is interesting. Have y'all heard this before? It says, I think everyone is overlooking another culprit, Miss D, the owner's wife. Oh, okay. She saved Stefanski's job before Shedeur. Really? Yeah, these people know each other too. So you got to think about that. That's interesting. Are you straight talker? Are you a Browns fan? 1619. Are you a Browns fan? Let us know, because I had never heard anybody say that before. And thank you for the support. I truly appreciate it. I had never heard anybody say that before. So that's some new tea that we haven't gotten. So let us know how you came across that information. If they stick with Shedeur, they will be all right. Yeah, but I think they, in order to stick with Shedeur, they're going to have to do what? Abandon the Manning kid next year. And I don't think they're going to do that. I really don't. I don't think the goal has changed. I think the goal has been delayed. So I have a year. What do I do with a year? Do I really let Shedeur ball out before the Manning kid come and we don't care if he look mediocre? Because I want you to know they got Dylan to prep you for the Manning kid this year, but he supposedly is not coming out. But I haven't seen the organization in their media commit to Shedeur long term. They talk about Harold Fanning Jr., Carson Schlesinger. They don't talk about Shedeur. Pay attention. They love to post Shedeur. But when it comes to talking about who's the future, they don't talk about Shedeur like that. Because I think the goal is still the goal to get the Manning kid. Anytime you hear Rizzo say clean house, why the hell are we firing Andrew Berry? Once I heard somebody else say, yeah, you can't trust Andrew Berry. What the hell did Andrew Berry do? Other than put together a stellar rookie class with who he was allowed to get. Because if Haslam was able to take Berry down to Ohio State versus Texas on a business trip, and Haslam is documented, it's known that Haslam told Berry, go get me that guy. What the hell did Berry do? He didn't get no O-lineman and he didn't get no receivers because he wasn't allowed to. He don't have no power. Stefanski drafted Dylan. Berry thought he was getting Shedeur because that's who he was speaking about during the draft. That's who they sent him to go get, and then said, "Oh, wait, we still got Deshaun." Berry's sin was saying, well, his skills were outdated, basically, retro style, too much for the first round. In other words, he cost too much for the first round. He also said Haslam lets us do our jobs. That's a damn lie. That's where he messed up. I don't know if he need to be fired for that, but that's where he messed up. Hey, St. Ivy, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chats, everybody. We have Oh, let's see. Mama Tia showing love tonight. Thank you. I think she got off already. Mama Tia again. Spiritual War Exposed. Thank you for rocking with us consistently. Thank you for the super chat. And Straight Talker, thank you for the super chat. And Ivy, thank you for the super chat. Thank y'all for believing in what she said sports. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all, everybody. And don't forget, go over to What She Said Sports and check out. Let me see if I can show it to y'all because I'm proud. I made this. I think I finished it at about 5:30 in the morning. The design, that is. Let's see. Let's see. So I can show it. So y'all can see what it looks like. So yeah, when like Bucky was saying, he was mentally, when I need a release, I'm a creative. So that's my release. So I guess I made this at about 5:30. So yeah, let me share this with y'all. Let's see. Okay, ready? Okay, so y'all know we already have the one with the 12 with the orange and peanut butter, which is nice, and y'all really like that one. So let me share this one on my screen. This is the one I made last night. So it has hold on one second. It has the smaller 12, which I think is cute, kind of chic, low profile 12 on the front. But on the back, this is what it has on the back. For I know the plans I have for you, 2911. Everybody knows what 2911 means. And then it says franchise. And I do think God has a blessing for Shedeur because, what Shedeur has been able to endure, what God made for Shedeur to be able to endure. Obviously, he didn't want to break or destroy him and refused to allow the Browns to do it, right? And, kept them from being able to reach their goals of devaluing him and destroying him and drafting to destroy and discard and devalue, thinking a Manning kid was coming out this year and that is up in flames, right? Along with Stefanski, thinking that the retaliation or the sabotage in the last game was going to blow back on Shedeur, but it blew back on him and Jerry Jeudy, right? So I'm proud of this. I made this and I'm just really proud of it because this is how I felt in my heart, right? This is how I felt. And I told y'all I had to level set my expectations and try to find a way to still want to have, which we're going to have, the watch parties because we really enjoy them. And we still rolling with 12. All right, we ain't giving up on that. We might need to take a nap or something, but we don't give up. Like they say, when you get weary, you don't quit. You just rest. So I had to rest for about a day and a half. That's why I didn't go live during the day today and during the day yesterday. I needed a minute. And this is what came of it. Because this is how my heart felt. That I felt like God was basically, I could see God holding Shedeur, right? And keeping Shedeur in a good place while they try to tear him apart. And that's because Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you. It's not to harm you at all. And that's why they're not able to harm him. That's why we're not talking about a mental health crisis with Shedeur. That's why he hasn't been cut from the roster. Because he knew what was at stake. He knew. And that takes discernment. It takes discernment to not get injured out there by people like 72 that keep falling on the ground on purpose. Right? It takes a lot of belief that God's will was done, whether we win or lose, not to call out Jerry Jeudy. Let us do that. Let us do that, right? Like he said, I don't want to kick a man when he's down because you would expect him to be down. And I heard his mumble mouth response. He wasn't down, but Shedeur said the right thing. And that's why people still rolling with 12. So we ain't quitting. We need to take a rest for a minute. And Bucky, he'll be fine too. He just gonna have to take a rest. And I know it's hard for him to watch that. I know it was hard for Coach Prime to have that interaction with the owner and then the Wildcats, right? It's just ridiculous because it's a slap in the face. The agenda is bigger than the league. That's the point. That's the point. So that was the other item, and that's the sleeve. I always like y'all to see the sleeve. So the sleeve, I always put that on there, Shedeurian, and then the font, it matches the back. So I worked on this, and got it turned around really quickly. So this is what I do when I need a release. This is like a labor of love for me. So hope y'all like it. Go check it out at whatshesaidsports.com. All right, y'all, we're going to get ready to wrap up out of here. I'm going to go through a few more comments. And I appreciate the love y'all gave tonight. Thank y'all so much. You have no idea the encouragement. It means a lot. It means a lot, right? Because I'm just an ordinary person. I'm just an ordinary person out here. Feel like I'm putting it on the line sometimes too, right? It said, I like that one. It said the small number with the scripture on the back. Yeah, I did too. Because normally, you know, I do the big number in the front or whatever, and the sleeve, the Shedeur. But I was like, no, I want to do like an understated, you know, understated on the front with, make sure you can see visibly on the back, the franchise sticker. And, you know, for the plans I had, I like that one. I like that one. So y'all will probably see me with that one on pretty soon too. So don't forget, use my code NOLAGIRL at checkout if you decide you want to go shopping tonight or anytime in the future. NOLAGIRL.com, all caps, NOLAGIRL. And the checkout discount box for free shipping. Who does not like free shipping? I know I do. So enjoy if y'all go shopping. Trademark your creation. I heard Tony Rizzo saying Shedurian. These folks steal your show. It's popular and they steal your talking points too. That's, yeah, working on it. 12 million Shedeur fans ain't studying Manning. Right. We not at all. That's what we like. They act like we gonna cry because they trade Shedeur. No, we want you to trade Shedeur to a team where he could go be a franchise quarterback like he is, rather than over there wasting his time with y'all. But that might be the plan. That just might be the plan. You never know. They might have felt like, well, let's get him for cheap because we're not going to use him. We only going to use him as trade value. But Kevin Stefanski won't even, he keeps setting him up so that won't even happen. So it's like Haslam and Stefanski got a plan, and Barry and Haslam had a different plan, right? So, and I think he playing both of them. That's just me. He definitely playing Andrew Barry. Definitely playing Andrew Barry. So that, you know, that's what it is. It was the Cardinals coach that had the altercation on the sideline with the running back, Amari DeMarco. It said the coach was fined $100,000. Oh, was it? Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was disgusting. You see how they get rude and nasty with you see how they let Jerry Jeudy do that? You see how they let that? Now you let Jerry Jeudy do that to a white quarterback. You let Jerry Jeudy end up on a team with Arch Manning in 2 years. Watch what happened. See, you don't give people license because ignorance does not discriminate. See, that's what people keep overlooking. See, they think, oh, we got you to do this for us. He gonna do it to you as well. Just wait for it. Wait for it. Ignorance does not discriminate. All right, y'all, I guess we're going to get out of here because it's late. It's already 12:48. Unless y'all in a different part of the country. Unless y'all in a different part of the country. It said, if the NIL is on the table, take it. It said, don't rush to get to this rigged collusion. No fun league. I totally agree. And I wondered about that too. I said, okay, so we got Bryce Underwood moving. We have Lenore Sellers going back to school. We got DJ Lagaway going back to school. Notice all of these players are black. And we have Dante Moore doing some serious thinking, and he need to go back to school. But it wouldn't surprise me if Oregon don't want him to come back. And why is that? Because who coming out of school next year? Why is nobody trying to get Carson back? What's going on there? Right? You got all of these other quarterbacks because y'all want these white quarterbacks, but you only trying to pigeonhole Mendoza. You don't think that's weird? Mendoza and the other guy, Dante Moore. You only trying to pigeonhole the two of them. Where's the conversation about Nussmeier? Where's the conversation about Gunnar Helm? Is he coming out? Where's the conversation about Carson Beck? And everybody else that was coming out. Where's that conversation? Where's Julian saying? Where's that conversation? All they trying to do is pigeonhole Mendoza and Dante. If you follow. I don't hear them talking about nobody else. That's crazy. So we're going to get out of here. We'll be back. Again, thank y'all for all the love, the support, the super chats, everybody. Mama Tia, Spiritual War Exposed, Straight Talking, thank you. Straight Talker, thank you. And Saint Ivy, and I think I got everybody. So thank you. And for the moderators and everybody in the chat, customers of What She Said Sports, I appreciate everybody. And if you're just hanging out in the background and don't want to be seen or heard, please hit the like button, and thank you for hanging out with us. I'm gonna get myself out of here so I can come back during the day tomorrow because I'm ready. I'm ready to get back to it. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports, everybody. Y'all have a good night.